Good afternoon and welcome. You have landed at Pat's Stamping Place, and this is Pat Mayer on Monday, October 28th. I think I'm actually a minute or so early. Can you believe it's the last Monday of October already? I just don't know where the days go. Kind of cleaning up my mess here, see if anybody's going to hop on. And it's now 3:30. So I'm going to say welcome again, and I hope you enjoy the next 20 minutes or so. I've got a very simple card for you today. So while I see if anybody's here, hello Rose. Rose is here. Thank you. Hope you're having a good start to your week. And next week we're going to be in November. That's hard to believe. Goodness sakes. So anyway, I am continuing with our look at the sketches that are in the annual catalog. And I wish I'd started these earlier so that I could get through them before the end of the year. So I might have to double up a little bit. Not sure when that, because I will be gone over Thanksgiving. But we are on number 13. So I'll show it to you here. And then I do have a big screenshot of it that I printed out. And it's with tearing paper. So here we go. And Shirley's here. Welcome. So this is our sketch for the day. So we've got some torn paper. I have a die cut for this part. And again, if you are watching and just haven't chimed in and you're new, these are sketches to kind of jump you off for your own creativity. So you can follow them exactly the way they are. You can modify a little bit, but there's so many things you could do. But I started to say that when I first started with rubber stamping and crafting, and way before all of the options that we had today with Pinterest and YouTube and oh my goodness sakes, searching for ideas. And one of the first that I learned was tearing paper. Now, there's a big difference between ripping the paper and tearing the paper. So I remember one customer I had a long time ago. She has since moved away, and she had the hardest time tearing the paper. And there is a technique to it. But who cares? It's still torn paper. So I will show you a couple samples that I have made ahead of time when we get finished. But I'm going to be working with my favorite set of paper that I've been using a lot lately because it's so versatile. And this is the Iconic Celebrations 6x6, the one that has things in it from fall, which I was going to use today and I changed my mind. Birthdays, celebrations of all kinds. So we've got all colors. We've got some blues, some greens, some confetti. Even, Valentine's Day is in here too. We've got some Cajun Craze, Cherry Cobbler, which I'm going to be using today. Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve, Mossy Meadow. That's another of today's colors. And Pecan Pie. So let's jump right in there. The die set that I chose to use to get the banner is Nested Essentials, and I've already cut that out. And the Sentimental Wishes, I believe this is, I did not look in the mini catalog. Let me see if this is in the mini catalog. I think it might be. Or it's an online exclusive. I need to label them. Sentimental. Yes, Sentimental Wishes is on page 29 in the annual catalog. Oh, excuse me, mini catalog. And it's with a suite, and it's the Sentimental Christmas Suite Collection. And I have a few of these. I think I have the paper. I don't know if I've got the dies for this one, but anyway, I am using just the sentiment from it today. And we'll get to some of this paper maybe later. I could have used that today as well. So I'm going with the color combination of Mossy Meadow and Cherry Cobbler. Those are two of my favorite Christmas reds and greens, unless you get to the brighter reds and greens. I love these two together. So we've got Mossy Meadow as a card base. It's 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5.5. And I have a piece to go inside that is 5 by 3 3/4. So I'm not going to glue that down yet because I think I will have a scrap of torn paper to put in there. I'm just going to stick it in there for the time being. Then this will go on top. And then I have 3 pieces of the designer paper that I have cut and just deciding which way they're going to go. Okay, here's trees. I could use trees if I wanted to. A couple of these others have fall and then some pinks on there, so I don't want to go with that. I could use the other side of this or the trees. So it's just however you want to do it. And this is great for scraps of paper too that you have left over. So let's take care of the envelope first because I don't always get a chance to do that. And I'm going to use this pretty red. It's got some little berries here. So let's add some liquid glue. So tell me how your week is going. We still have pretty leaves outside. They are falling. We haven't had any rain for a while, but I believe some is coming. Probably Thursday when some of the neighborhoods have their trick-or-treat. My neighborhood had theirs on Saturday. There weren't too many children out there. But the city always designates the Saturday before Halloween as the official date for trick-or-treating. And it starts during the daylight, like at 5 or 5:30, when the youngsters, the little ones, can go out and about. And then I think it goes till like 7 or 8. Okay, scissors. Get my snips here. So I went to get some candy, and it's pretty expensive this year. Although if you wait till closer to the date, the prices go down, or if you have some rewards cards from your grocery store, it's a little bit cheaper. So I got Snickers bars. When my sister was still here in September, that's when the Halloween candy started coming out, we were eating candy corn a lot. So who's a candy corn fan? I do like it. But once you have it, it's time to let it go. Okay, I think I put a little bit too much glue on there, but that's good. So the envelope is done. And I learned a tip from somebody, not necessarily for you all because you don't have the lights overhead, but a piece of vellum. And that is something I still wish we sold, was the vellum paper, but we don't. So anyway, that blocks out the light from overhead, and then I can still use my glass mat instead of covering it up with the other paper. So that's that story. All right, so let's get to how I want to tear the paper. There is a technique to tearing the paper, and I'm going to grab another piece that I have here that I was using. Oh, you made popcorn. Did you have trunk or treat at the church, Rose? That's always fun. Yeah, and that's a safer way to go too. And I love popcorn. All right, I'm going to use this paper as an example. When you have designer paper, our paper has a white core. The cardstock does not. So this makes it look a little bit better when you've got that white torn edge. We now have some paper that I don't have yet that is lighter on one side and darker on the other side. So that has a different core too. Let's see, where's my face here? Okay, there we go. But anyway, when you start to tear the paper, you want to use your thumbs. Oh, the Girl Scouts did it. Well, that's good. You want to use your thumbs to control and let that guide how you want to tear your paper. And I always learned that you want to tear toward you. And that's how you can go up or down, or however you want to control your paper. And obviously every single card will be different because you'd never tear the same thing twice. Okay, so let me do that again. Just start there and start tearing, and then use your thumbs to control that on the way down. And that's it. You can use torn paper. Let's say you want to make some mountains and use a sponge or your blending brushes. You can use the torn paper for that. So it's got lots of different ways. This one happens to be a little bit different to make your card. All right, so given that, let's see what I want to start with. Okay, this one is a little bit longer. I'll cut that off in a minute. So trees or little leaves? I think I'm going to go with the trees in the middle, actually. And once again, looking at the template that we have to go by, this is obviously your piece in the back, and it can be short or you can make that long and go all the way down to the bottom. So you might be adding some thickness to this. So I'm going to keep this one on my back part. This happens to be, everything is 4 1/8 across. This one happens to be like 3 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to start tearing this. I'm not going to pay so much attention to this part here. It's going to be what it is. That will be my creativity. So just tear. And let your thumbs be the guide. So that's going to go that way. I'm not going to glue these down until I get all 3 of them torn, because I may want to adjust something. Let's see, what if I did that one up there? I think I'm going to change my mind and do this one at the top. That's the fun part of paper crafting. You can create and change your mind. Now keep in mind, I've got this piece that's going to go up there. And I may want to shorten that a little bit once I get my sentiment on there. So I'm going to tear this one a little bit more. Okay, I'm trying not to make this be rocket science. And then let's put this one up here. So let's trim that down to the 4 1/8. And that's just 2 little marks over from the 4. And then this can go up here. All right, let's stamp the sentiment. Let's celebrate the season. And I'm probably going to trim that part off. That's why I didn't want to glue any of this down yet. And I'm going to go with the cherry cobbler. And let's see how that stamps. That looks good. You can always use the glass mat to get an idea of what it's going to stamp like. There we go. Sorry if I was out of camera. Okay, that's a little bit lighter than I thought that it would be, but I think it will be okay. And that's going to go up there. Okay, I'm going to glue that down and use my seal. And let's grab my trimmer and trim that off, because then I know it will be straight. And this was 5 3/8. Okay, glue this down. So this ended up being my shortest piece of paper. I'm going to always trim from the bottom too. And then this one. And the white just really sets it off. And then let's add, I love this plaid. Now I could angle that a little bit to give it a little bit more, that it would look like the sample or the template with this part in here. But let's see what it would look like from the other side with part that I'm going to trim off. I don't think that'll work. So let's just do it like this. As I said, every card would be different. That Seal Plus is mighty strong. But tearing the paper does add some dimension. It adds some texture to your card. And it's a very simple technique. So let's trim that off. And I have one more little thing I want to do. And just decide which piece I want to use. Okay, I'm going to yes, what am I gonna do? Okay, the banner up here is 2 1/8. So off here to the side, I am cutting that piece of paper down to 2 1/8. And here's a little tip for you. If you are cutting a small piece of paper, and I know there's a glare on here, take a Post-it note. Thanks, Rosa. As I said, I love those two colors together. Okay, take a Post-it note, because I want to cut this and just have a little bit to go across the top of the banner. And I know it's going to slip in there if I don't hold it down with something. So I'm going to, let's get the sticky part there. Hold that down with the sticky part so I can cut it and it won't slip. So you can do that, and that will look, yep, I like that up there. So there's another reason to use your Post-it notes. Now this isn't on the card yet, so I can do trimming and adding or whatever I want to do. Or would the plaid look better? I think the plaid might look better. I will go with that because it's already cut. Okay, so let's add the Seal Plus to that little piece. Now, one thing with the seal, it has a tendency to have these little tabs or tags, and it will fold over. You need to fold it over if it goes off of the edge. Okay, and I'll just use my snips to take that off, because there was still some adhesive on there. Then I can just use alcohol. If you ever need to clean off your snips or your scissors, just use some alcohol. Okay, that's not as straight as it should be, but that's the way it's going to be. All right, let's get this into here, and let's see if there's a spare piece of paper that I can tear to put along the bottom of that. Okay, now this was kind of a double piece, but I think it will tear okay. Let's get back in the camera. And put that down along the bottom. Okay, and then you can always kind of, pull that up and distress it a little bit if you want to add even a little bit more texture to your card. All right, now let's put this in here. And now I can put this on the front. And there was only 1/8 of an inch around the edge there. So let's get rid of these pieces. And there they are. Put some of these Druzy adhesive backed embellishments on here. And these are in the Holiday Mini. And choose a big one. Let's put another one up here. So there's the card, here's the envelope, and we've got some embellishment on the inside. Yes, Mossy Meadow and Cherry Cobbler. Great Christmas colors together. Okay, here was the first card that I did. And kind of a traditional red and green, and this was, or is, garden green and real red. And then this was one that I did as a birthday card, kind of on the masculine side, and using color as the card base, and then tearing the regular cardstock. So this is Lost Lagoon, and we have Coastal Cabana here. Here's another piece of Lost Lagoon, and this was Coastal Cabana. So that can be kind of another alternative. So we had still the 3 pieces of tearing, but a different layout. So, let your just let your imagination go on how you want to cut out and tear your cards. So there we go. That's it for today. Quick and easy and simple. And I will see you next Monday. It will be November 4th, believe it or not. So have a great rest of the week. It's supposed to be warm here on Thursday, and that's when the rain might be coming. So have one last chance at some warm weather. There was frost out this morning, so it was pretty cold though. So take care, have a great rest of the week, and happy stamping.